He's a physician.
I do too.
Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg is being sponsored by Best Buy Signs, creator of the Omaha Parks Program, OmahaFastFoods.com, Certified Transmission, Sholdit, Rotella's Italian Bakery, La Peeps Restaurant, Two Men and a Truck, Shout Weekly, Critter Control, Russ Kaplan Investments. Welcome to Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, the show that will leave you feeling great about yourself, Omaha's heroes, and Omaha, where we live, work, and play. So park yourself on the bench and have fun.
Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg. And you know what? I feel pretty good this week. Why? Because you're back with me. And you're back with me because you know this is a feel-good show. About what? About you. About the city of Omaha. About a great nonprofit organization. And about great individuals who live here in Omaha, Nebraska. So this week, as always, we are going to be covering a great nonprofit. We're going to be learning from 3 motivational vignettes. And then we're going to be introduced to a very, very unique individual. We're going to be meeting with Dr. Mark Christian, who is a person that is now living in Omaha, Nebraska, but previously lived in Egypt. And during his lifetime, he actually changed spiritual affiliations. And we're going to be talking about what it means to change. What are the obstacles? Why people should change, and why each and every one of us should learn from it. And what are some of the aspects in our life that we should be learning from? And what are some of the aspects in our life that we want to change and that Mark is going to teach us how to do it? And we'll be talking to Mark just a little bit later. But first, we're going to begin with our 3 motivational vignettes. And let's begin. You know, ever face that time in life when it is time to move? It's time to sell that house. And here comes the realtor. The realtor comes in and says, you know what? You got this spot over here you have to fix. You have to fix this minor defect. You have to change this. You have to modify this. Because the way the house is right now, it is not yet ready for sale. So what do? We spruce it up. We make all those minor changes that the realtor tells us to. We change those minor defects. We go ahead and make those changes that people can see, those cosmetic changes. And we feel very, very, very good about it. And we spend a little bit of money doing that. Because once it's done, it looks totally presentable to the new buyer. Now, I have a question for you. Do you know that each and every day you're up for sale? You are. You're up for sale in your life. You're up for sale in your profession. You're up for sale in everything that you do. And yet you do come with those minor defects. You do come with those minor, little small imperfections. You do come with some of those cosmetic changes that should be made. Now the question is as follows. Should you make the changes that we just talked about when someone tries to sell their house? Should you make that change in your life now? The answer is yes. Why wait for someone to look at you and say, not ready for that promotion, not ready for that advancement, not ready for that salary increase, not ready for this to happen in their life, because they've got these things that they haven't worked on. Every one of us, right now, should take a look at those minor defects. Every one of us right now should take a look at those defects, make a list of them, and then say, I know I'm for sale tomorrow. I know I can keep my job tomorrow. I know I can advance tomorrow. I know that people are going to rely on me tomorrow. Therefore, today, I'm going to make those changes that are going to make me a better person, just like I would a house. That's going to be our job, to improve and eliminate our minor defects. And my gosh, have you looked at the weather lately? Every one of us want to get out there and play golf. Well, there are 2 types of people that play golf. One of them is the golfer, and one of them is the person that just plays. Well, right now, I want to talk to the golfer. And I want to imagine for just a moment that you're going to be out there at the course. You've been waiting all this time to play. But unfortunately, The wind is against you. The greens are wet. The sand is moist. You've got everything going against you. You know, the person that plays golf says, the course is too hard. I can't do it. It's not going to work. I'm going to score way too high. The elements are against me. The golfer is going to say something entirely different. This is the game that I live for. I live for these challenges. I live for these obstacles. And yet, when that golfer goes back to their office or goes back home, and they're also faced with all these obstacles that are right in front of them, do they have the same mindset as if they did when they're on the golf course? Probably not. Each and every one of us should take a look at being the golfer, being the person that wants those challenges, being the person that's going to be working harder to overcome those challenges. And when that happens, our game gets better, our stature gets better, and everything about us begins to improve. So from now on, look for those challenges. Turn yourself into the golfer and see what happens in your score of life. Now, it is this time during each show that we begin to sponsor a nonprofit organization. And this week, we will be talking about Youth Care and Beyond. Youth Care and Beyond provides residential and support services to intellectually challenged youth and adults at group homes and apartments. They are the only agency in Nebraska that accept wards of the state from across Nebraska with IQs as low as 52. Youth Care and Beyond is a private nonprofit agency founded in 1980 that operates 3 residential group homes for youth and provides apartments and assistive services for adult clients. They provide supervision and support 24/7 to the youth staying at their group homes. Through expert guidance and care, they strive to prepare youth clients to be reunited with their families and to equip them with the social and life skills necessary for an independent future. Their adult clients receive the support they need to live independently and with dignity. These services include assistance with shopping, meal preparation, finances, and other supports customized to the client's needs. Youth Care and Beyond offers the prospect of an independent life to those who would otherwise be relegated to detention facilities, nursing homes, and homeless shelters or the streets. For more information, be sure to visit ycbinc.org to learn more about Youth Care and Beyond. And now during the show, we get the opportunity to meet marvelous individual people who are part of Omaha, who as a result of this show will become part of you. And we're going to be talking right now to Dr. Mark Christian. Let me tell you a little bit about Mark, and then we'll talk about how he got here. Mark was born and raised in Egypt. As a matter of fact, and he'll tell you the name of the hospital later, he was one of the physicians in one of the most prestigious military hospitals in Egypt. But he decided to leave Egypt, and he came over to the United States of America. And at the same time in his life, he also began to seek a different spiritual affiliation. You talk about change. You talk about the willingness to change. You talk about the desire to change. And you talk about executing change. That is what Dr. Mark Christian is all about. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, since the name of the show is called Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, and you left Egypt to come to America, how did you end up in Omaha, Nebraska?
It's a very weird question that always people ask me on a regular basis every day. Why did you choose Omaha? I think Omaha or Nebraska in general is the treasure of America, the heartland. I didn't know much about Omaha, Nebraska. I chose Omaha, Nebraska because I thought about it as a very safe place and very exclusive place for my career and aim that I was coming for. And when I came over here, I found it a great place to raise my family and to take care of my wife and my son. And I love it since I came over here. I still struggle on a regular basis with the weather, though.
Sure.
And not much to do. I grew up in
Right.
big cities and so forth. And, I wish Omaha has more vibe into it and more things to do. But I'm enjoying it and enjoying every day of it.
And we're honored to have you here. And I really hope that the Omaha Chamber of Commerce is watching the show because I want you to replay what he said. This is a treasure. But even more important than that, how many of us, when we travel outside of Omaha, when people say, where do you live? How many of you do exactly what I just did? and you came to Omaha, Nebraska? Instead of saying, and you came to Omaha, Nebraska. It's the mindset that's so important. It's the mindset that we have. It's the mindset about how proud we are of who we are. So when you were back in Egypt and you decided to come here, how did you ever find out about Omaha?
I really did find about Omaha from just other people that came over here for medical career and so forth, and this is how I found about Omaha. It's a long story, by the way, but it was in a very weird ways I found about Omaha. But when I learned about Omaha, I couldn't even say the word Omaha, so I was saying it Omaha and other weird names. And I tried to find it on the map, and I couldn't, because most of the maps about America and Egypt does not have Omaha. Other challenge I had actually when I was it was 10 years ago when I came to America, and I was trying to find a ticket to come all the way over here to Omaha, and nothing was connecting flights to Omaha. Everything was major to go to major airports, and I asked the travel agent, can you get me a place to Omaha? And she had no idea what that is. So
you talk about stories. I at one time was in Cairo.
Oh, you were?
But I went to Cairo in a totally different way. Just to share a story, I started out in Istanbul, went from Istanbul to Frankfurt, Frankfurt to Tel Aviv, and Tel Aviv to Cairo, all in one day.
Why?
Why? Great question. Because the airfare was only $225.
Oh, you were just saving money.
I saved money, and I was able to do it that way.
Okay, you must be young, because nowadays,
Nowadays it's different.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to leave a country that you came from to come to Nebraska, to come to the United States?
As you mentioned, I have major changes in my life. And the biggest change that actually triggered all of that is my faith. I grew up a Muslim, and I wanted to be a Christian, and it's a long journey to make that decision, but I found it very difficult and absolutely impossible to do what I want to do. And have you ever heard the story of who moved my cheese?
Sure.
That's a story that I loved so much, and I actually read every now and then. It's one of my favorite stories.
Sure.
I don't know if your listeners understand that story or not, but at the time, a time will come that you have to make a decision to move forward, and I had to make that decision, and that's why I made those decisions to come to America and so forth.
So how many of us are stuck? We're stuck someplace in our life, and we say to ourselves, you know what, I have a choice. I can either continue to be stuck and do absolutely nothing about it, or we say to ourselves, I'm done. I don't want to be stuck anymore. I want to make a change. We need to make the changes that Dr. Mark Christian went through. And we're going to learn a little bit more about the obstacles that he had to go through in order to achieve those changes. But the reason I have him on the show is because one way to live a better life, and no matter where we are in life, one way to live a better life is to always say to ourselves, what is it that I can do to make life better? But let's get back to the doctor for a moment. You were a doctor in the name of a hospital I cannot remember.
El Maadi Military Hospital.
Thank you very much. And that is the most prestigious military hospital in Egypt. So
it's a top military hospital in Egypt, yes.
So how did you get to that stature anyway? I mean, most people when they get out of medical school, all right, they open up a practice, they want to help people, that's wonderful. But how did you get to that level of medical proficiency in order to be qualified to work in a hospital like that?
It was a dream of mine. There is a long story of that. Growing up as a kid, my dad was working at the same hospital as an OBGYN as well, and I used to go and spend time with him at the hospital, and during his stay over and layovers and so forth, I would go and play around in the back, on the playground and so forth. So when I was in medical school, I was dreaming to work at that hospital, and I pursued that dream. I tried to work hard, and I tried to find every way possible so I can start my career at a hospital for that stature, so I can learn more, I can enhance my career, and I can get to a very good start for my career, and everything was going very good. Actually, I spent 7 years working at that hospital, and I learned a lot, and it was an amazing day when I stepped my first step into the hospital in the same office that my dad used to work at, and became my office.
That had to be so emotionally impactful.
You
for
cannot
that
even-
to happen.
You cannot even imagine how much. And during layovers as well, for spending the night at the hospital, I used to go and look at the places where I used to ride my bike and do stuff, in the back where my dad is working and he's letting me, have fun at the hospital and going from one office to another. And I was a kid, and all of a sudden I'm the doctor over there. That was a remarkable moment in my life.
One of the things I love doing about this show is meeting people just like Dr. Mark Christian, who have these dreams, who have these aspirations. But the common denominator is they don't give up. Now, I know, just between you and I, that there are many of us that have dreams. You might have given up on them. You might have said, oh, that's a nice dream. It's never going to happen to me. But remember what the doctor said. It's something he didn't give up on. It's something that he visualized. It's something that he really wanted. It's something that he had an emotional attachment to. It's something that he had to put a lot of hard work behind. You see, that's the key. When you want to achieve your dreams, you have to put in the work, and you have to continue that visualization. That's the way those dreams come true. But on the other hand, this story has a bit of a different slant to it. So you achieved your dream, but you gave it up.
Yes.
You left.
First of all, I agree with you 100%. I am wired not to give up.
Okay.
Not giving up is something that bothers me a lot.
Right.
And it's not only pursuing your dream, but pursuing everything that you have a conviction about reaching and doing. And this is like day-to-day basis and every moment of your life. This is something that I teach my son on a regular basis. This is something I live with every day, that I do not give up. I try my best and I work hard and I try my best to reach the goal that I'm setting in front of me. And I ask God. God is playing a big, important role in my life. And I always ask God for the right direction. And then when I feel like this is what God wants me to do, I go and pursue it hard with every cell of my body.
And that is an amazing way to live a life. It's a very inspirational way. It's a very spiritual way. In addition to that, the journey here, I'm sure, came with obstacles.
100%.
Because it's nice to say, oh, I don't give up. Oh, you know what? But most people, when they hear that, they say, well, yeah, you don't give up because you've never had any obstacles. Yeah, you don't give up because, yeah, you got that military job. Yeah, you don't give up because your daddy was in the hospital the same place you were. So there must have been some kind of a connection. Not true. Because nothing in life comes easy. They all have obstacles.
It's painful. Not giving up is painful. It is.
Oh, sure.
It is something that it does not come easy. Sometimes it's a struggle because if your nature and you are wired and you try to wire yourself that it is easy to give up many times because the challenges are huge every day and every moment of your life and you have the choice to give up or to keep fighting until you reach your goals. And many times it's easy to give up. It is very painful sometimes to go through the struggle until you reach the goals. So giving up is not something that comes easy. It comes with endurance, and this is what not giving up is all about.
But you did give up your background. You did give up your family. You did give up leaving all of that behind to pursue your own personal goals and to pursue your own personal dreams. So one of the questions I need to ask you, and it might hurt, what's more important in life? Living the life you want to live or living the life that other people say you should live?
Living up to your convictions is the most important thing.
Okay.
It is not living the life that everybody wants you to do or expect you to live or wants you to live. It is living up to your own convictions, and this is the challenge. You talked about reaching my dream. My dream to work at that hospital, I reached that dream, and I was enjoying it to the best. But my conviction was leading me to different direction. Should I give up my next dream for the dream that I live in right now or not? And that was the questions that I was facing. Should I give up my conviction of who God is to me and how can I pursue that? And I can just enjoy the easiness of life with my family and with my co-workers and my friends and my extended family, or should I go and live the life that I want? And the choice was, I will live the life I want because I cannot live with myself in failure and in defeat, even though it seems like the most successful life that everybody can approach.
So a lot of people might have a different definition of the word conviction.
Okay.
What is
Not in jail, though.
No, thank you. So, what is your definition, the definition that you work with for the word conviction?
It's your conscience. It's your conscience and how you feel God is leading you. This is what is conviction means for me. Means that what is your conscience leading you to believe and leading you to pursue. And this is what it means to me.
So as you overcome obstacles of change, what were some of the techniques that you used to overcome obstacles?
Some days it comes to an complete end, and the day is not moving forward, and you are not accomplishing anything. The best thing at that time is to go to sleep and get some
Okay.
rest and let it go for one day.
Okay.
Not let it go for life. Let it go for one day. The next day is the new morning, a new sunlight, and a new hope, and you go after it again. Many times it took me a couple of those cycles to reach the second step in my life.
You know, a lot of people have an expression, and I'm going to change it a little bit. Someone says, hey, you know what? I want to make a decision. Well, I'm not too sure about the decision, so I'm going to sleep on it. You know what? The doctor actually gave us that advice. You know how doctors say take two, go to sleep and call me in the morning? That was his advice. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what? We all have a bad day. We all have days when we want to accomplish something, it doesn't necessarily get accomplished. And what the good doctor is telling us, and this is not medical advice, this is not spiritual advice, I'm going to call it practical advice. The practical advice is just sleep on it. So as you look forward now 10 years, how do you feel about the changes that you made?
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm not done yet. I still, have my own dreams that I need to pursue in life.
Okay.
I'm happy for many things that I accomplished. Change, I don't like change. Again, I don't like change. But I had to make those changes. And afterwards, after some time, you look back and see if you made the right decision, it was the right conviction or not. There is things that I would regret, and maybe I didn't do it the right way. But in total, I look at the cup half full, not half empty. Everything has to move forward. You are where you are right now because God is putting you in this position, but also the same God who got you in this position has a bigger dreams and bigger rules in your life for you. So all what you need to do is to continue the path and to do what God wants you to do, and this is what I'm doing in my life on a regular basis.
You know the expression you use about the glass being half empty or half full?
Yes.
I have a different way of looking at that.
I would love to hear it.
My way is, whoever filled it or emptied it didn't finish the job.
Yes.
So to me, that's one way to look at it. But you know what's interesting? Here's someone that doesn't like change, yet his life is full of change. Now, in your life, do you like change? Well, you might not. Sometimes change is forced upon you. Sometimes change is change that you want to make. Either way, it is an increased improvement over where you are right now in your life. Because the good doctor said, hey, I made those changes, but I'm not done, which I think is terrific. So, question, if there was one thing that you would like everybody to remember from this interview, what one piece of advice, non-spiritual, could you give to people who really want to seek a better life for themselves?
Stagnant water smells. You have to have always moving forward and try to get where you are right now and to make the best out of it, but look forward to the future and what you need to accomplish in life. And always, it's a new day, it's a new sunshine, and it's always something new will come in your life. So it is not done, it is not finished until it's done and it's finished. Set your goals, keep at it, keep moving forward. Even if your dreams is up to the sky, God can accomplish those, and by your efforts, you will accomplish those as well.
Stagnant water, what was that again?
Smells.
Stagnant water smells. Well, I'll tell you one thing. This particular interview was very sweet. So I want to thank you so much for educating everybody here, Doctor, as to what change is all about, what the benefits of change was, and for allowing us to share in everything that you have accomplished in your life.
Thank you.
I want to be able right now, once again, to share with you the 3 things that we talked about. Number 1, it's time to move. It's time to take those defects and those areas of improvements in your life that's going to make you a better person, and it's time to work on them right now. The other thing that I want to talk to you about, remember we talked about playing golf? I want you to be that golfer, because Dr. Mark Christian really talked about that, didn't he? Yeah, things were tough. It wasn't the easiest thing to do, but yet he was able to accomplish it, and I think that's just a marvelous way to take a look at it. And then, of course, there's another thing I want you to think about, and that is, I want you to think about a superhero. I want you to think about all the superheroes that you can think of. Oh, there's Batman, there's Robin, and there's Aquaman. But there's one famous particular person that sometimes we forget. Who's that? Underdog. I grew up with Underdog. Underdog was absolutely a terrific character. But you know what was great about Underdog? He excelled. How many of us right now are underdogs? We are. But we have the opportunity to be that superhero. We have the opportunity to take ourselves from the underdog to be that superhero. So if you're an underdog, now's your time to shine. Now's your time to be that superhero. Now's your time to really elevate yourself. And when you combine that vignette with the other two that we just talked about, with the time to move and being the golfer and going out there and getting those challenges and putting together everything that Dr. Mark Christian has taught us about his life, how much better can life be? Remember, he came to Omaha. Omaha is a terrific place for him. Omaha is a terrific place for us. Omaha is a terrific place for us to always be high on, based on everything that's available to us in our life and based on everything that's available to us in the lives of everybody that lives here. And by the way, have you ever invented anything? Well, you might not have. However, next week we're going to meet an individual who has invented 11 different things. So what are we going to learn from him? His name, by the way, is Alan Tipp. And if the word Tipp sounds, or the name Tipp sounds familiar, we had his mom on the show, Marilyn Tipp. She was the actress, she was the performer. Her son is an inventor. Each and every one of us in our lives have the opportunity to invent things, to create things, to add value. And Alan Tipp is going to teach us how to do that. That show is coming up next week on your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg. So between now and then, I would like everybody to remember the marvelous, inspirational story that the doctor has taught us. I want us to remember the 3 motivational vignettes, and I want us to remember that wonderful nonprofit that we talked about. Because next week, right here on your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, it's the Feel Good Show, and I look forward to seeing you then. See you next week.
Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg is being sponsored by Best Buy Signs, creator of the Omaha Parks Program, OmahaFastFoods.com, Certified Transmission, Sholdit, Rotella's Italian Bakery, La Peeps Restaurant, 2 Men and a Truck, Shout Weekly, Critter Control, Russ Kaplan Investments. Welcome to Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, the show that will leave you feeling great about yourself, Omaha's heroes, and Omaha, where we live, work, and play. So park yourself on the bench and have fun.